California State Prison-Sacramento would first open its doors in 1986 and today houses more than 2,200 medium, maximum, and high security incarcerated persons. Often referred to as New Folsom, the prison was the site of a grisly attack on November 22, 2024. At approximately 8:20 a.m., incarcerated individual, high-profile inmate, and infamous leader of the Aryan Brotherhood, Ronald Yandell, allegedly drew an improvised weapon against two officers while he was being escorted back to a cell from a scheduled appointment at the institution's Central Health building. One of the officers, watching the attack, would come to the aid of his fellow COs and deploy 3 applications of pepper spray in order to get Yandell to drop his improvised weapon.
Ronald Yandell is the alleged ringleader of a crime spree involving the Aryan Brotherhood. Prosecutors used federal wiretaps to discover that Yandell enlisted these fellow Aryan Brotherhood gang members to commit a series of crimes from behind prison walls.
And through that wiretap, we built a very strong case, which involves allegations of murderous hits made on other inmates in the state prison system, as well as orders given but thwarted to murder other inmates and people outside the prison.
Federal authorities say the crimes also included a drug smuggling operation involving distribution of methamphetamine and heroin, both inside and outside prison walls.
The money that was being earned for this criminal enterprise was going to folks behind prison walls, which is unique.
Investigators took 5 years to document how the criminal network used contraband cell phones to send out their orders, with prison officials in the dark. How could they get phones? How could this happen?
Phones and contraband are an ever-challenging issue within our prison system.
Staying with us, I'm Lisa Gonzalez. We continue to follow breaking news right now. Several breaking news stories. In fact, more than 16 members of the Aryan Brothers gang have been arrested for drug trafficking and murders that took place inside prison walls. The alleged ringleader in this case, Ronald Yandell, ran this operation, prosecutors say today, from Folsom State Prison, where authorities set up a federal wiretap.
And through that wiretap, we built a very strong case, which involves allegations of murderous hits made on other inmates in the state prison system, as well as orders given but thwarted to murder other inmates and people outside the prison.
5-year investigation also involves special agents from the Drug Enforcement.
New Folsom Prison near Sacramento is under extra close watch tonight after 70 inmates rioted this afternoon. Betty Yu shows us when the dust settled, one of California's most notorious prisoners was dead.
His friends called him Yogi Bear, a name that hardly suggests the convicted rapist he was, or the convict who was part of the San Quentin Six, the men who slashed the throats of 3 guards at Quentin in a dramatic escape attempt back in 1971. All these years later, Hugo Pinell ended a long spell of solitary confinement. Today, in the exercise yard at New Folsom Prison, another con shanked him, and he died. The prison says Hugo was definitely the target.
His family is devastated by this.
Hugo's attorney said he had concerns about his client's safety at the maximum security prison.
There's clear, undeniable failure to protect him because there have been significant threats against him, mostly because of his reputation.
That reputation included killing another prison guard just 5 months before he tried to kill his way out of Quentin. He was serving life at New Folsom. His attorney says Hugo had no record of violence for the last 30 years.
Many people focus on the 1971 incident at San Quentin. You know, he's the only person left in prison who's directly associated with that incident, and so he's become, the target.
Hugo's attorney says his client was in solitary confinement for nearly 45 years. He was shocked to find out Hugo was mixed in with the general population just 2 weeks ago. In the newsroom, Betty Yu, KPIX 5.
What's going on, you guys? Welcome back. Another episode of Green Lit Gang TV. Much love, much appreciation, and thank you guys so much for checking out the channel today. It means a lot that you are here. Really quick, before we get into the video, let's do the intros. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. I really appreciate that you are here. If you enjoy it, go back, check out some of the content, check out some of the videos, and let me know what you think. And if you're a returning member, individual viewer to this channel, then again, you guys, thank you. You already know how much you guys mean to me. We are on the road to 20,000 subscribers. If you've watched any of my videos this year, you've heard me mention this. We are closing in on it. I think we're about 700, a little less subscribers away from hitting that number. It's been a goal of mine for this whole year, and we're going to be hitting it at about the halfway point of 2025. So again, that's a big deal for me. It means a lot. So again, thank you guys. Lastly, if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, hit the like button, hit the comment button, engage in some conversation, and please hit that subscribe button. All right, guys, really quick before we jump into it, do something a little different. I want to get to know my audience a little bit better. Some of you guys, I see you in the comments. I see you guys a lot. I want to know what you guys do for a living. What do you do for work? Me, I'm in sales. I work 60 to 70 hours a week. It's just what the job calls for. It's a very stressful job, but I love it. And with my kind of ADD, my personality, my kind of brain, always on go, always on 10, I don't think I could do anything else, if that makes sense to you guys, especially as a former addict in recovery. It's just how my brain works. It never quite shuts off. So my job fits me very well. But I want to know what you guys do. I don't want to make it about me. What do you guys do? Comment down below. What's a normal week like for you guys? What's a routine look like? Just comment down below if you feel like it. Okay, so we're going to be talking about Ronald Yandell. Now, I did a video on him and the Aryan Brotherhood and their big indictment that came down in 2019. Basically, Yandell and Danny Troxel were running an entire drug operation, murder for hire operation, extortion operation from their cell in New Folsom prison, along with other members of the Aryan Brotherhood and associates and things like that. But their fingerprints were all over. They were all over everything that was going on, not just in the prison they were housed in, but other prisons as well. Gave insight to, again, the power that you see some of these major prison gangs have. And interestingly, in this, they actually had, and probably still have, they were having an active, working, functioning relationship with the Mexican mafia in order to make money. At the end of the day, it's about the green, right? So there is a lot of racial divide. There's a lot of, especially in California. But when it comes down to it, especially with the leaders of these gangs, it's about making money. And if it makes dollars, then it's going to make sense. But today, we're going to be talking about specifically Yandell's attack against two COs that happened about 8-9 months ago at the end of November in 2024 at California State Prison-Sacramento, better known as New Folsom. We're going to be reading from the article from the CDCR, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that indictment that came down in 2019. But this is the main article from the CDCR's website after the attack. California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation officials are investigating the attack of two peace officers at California State Prison-Sacramento as an attempted homicide. On November 22nd, 2024, at approximately 8:20 a.m., incarcerated person Ronald D. Yandell, 62 years old, allegedly drew an improvised weapon against two officers while he was being escorted back to a cell after a scheduled appointment at the institution's Central Health Building. One of the officers deployed 3 applications of pepper spray. Yandell dropped the improvised weapon, was placed in restraints, and was removed from the incident site without further incident. Now, I got to correct myself. In the intro, I said that it was a fellow CO that watched the attack happen. No. So from rereading this, it was actually one of the COs that came under attack, who Yandell was trying to kill, that was able to get his pepper spray out. 3 applications later, Yandell finally dropped his weapon. And I don't know if you've ever watched a video or a documentary or anything when they talk about the mace that these guys carry. It's kind of like a bear mace. It's pretty nasty. Goes into your hair, your eyes, your ears, your mouth. It's just awful. So the fact that Yandell made it through 3 applications just gives you an idea of his intentions of what he was trying to do. He was evaluated by medical staff who determined he did not sustain injuries. No other staff were injured. An improvised weapon was found at the scene. The case will be referred to the Sacramento County District Attorney's Office for possible felony prosecution. Yandell originally was received from Contra Costa County on March 18th, 2004, sentenced to life with the possibility of parole for first-degree murder and voluntary manslaughter. California State Prison-Sacramento opened in 1986 and houses more than 2,200 medium, maximum, and high security incarcerated persons. Yandell is serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole for first-degree murder and voluntary manslaughter. Talk to you under just how he arrived at prison in 2004. This guy, though, he's a career criminal, and he's more than that, man. This guy, his mindset, his mind state is criminality. It is a through and through criminal. I'm not saying that's all he is, so I'm not trying to diminish or demean or any way, but I'm just saying he is a leader of one of the most violent, vicious, prison gangs in our country's history. You have to be cut from a certain cloth in order to run that, in order to get people to listen to you. They have to respect you. They have to fear you. They have to be willing to follow you. So you have to have certain qualities in order to gain that power and that respect that you see come out in this indictment. Now, this article was from June 6, 2019. Just to give a little background on Yandell and kind of how he came. Now, a lot of people already knew about him. I'm not saying this indictment, it was the first time anybody heard about the name Ronald Yandell. But when this indictment came down, I'll be honest, that's when I first heard about him. A few years back when I got, doing research and just coming across this content. Even before I started my channel, I just love this kind of content. I'm super interested in this kind of stuff. And Ronald Yandell is one of those first names that pops up. If you just Google Aryan Brotherhood, California, just do that right now when you get done watching this video. He will pop up. You're going to see his face. He's got all the face tattoos. He's done some prison house, jailhouse recordings. So he's definitely out there in the internet world. Article, June 6, 2019. Leaders of the Aryan Brotherhood prison gang were charged with direct killings and drug smuggling on Thursday from within California's most secure prisons, U.S. prosecutors said. The charges detail 5 slangs and accuse an attorney of helping smuggle drugs and cell phones to aid the white supremacist gang. 16 Aryan Brotherhood members and associates are accused of running the criminal enterprise using contraband cell phones, encrypted chats, text messages, multimedia messages, and email. These guys had everything. So you see that first video I put up when the media guy's asking, law enforcement member, how are they getting this? It's like, they don't probably love answering those questions because it's like they've got all kinds of ways. But at the end of the day, you know what it is? It's corrupt officers. It's corruption. That's what's getting all this stuff in. Yes, there's other ways to get it in. People are smuggling stuff in. But at the end of the day, it's corrupt COs. It's corrupt administrators. That's who's bringing the cell phones and the majority of the contraband in. It just is what it is. Among them are 9 current inmates charged with racketeering, conspiracy, and other charges, and 7 people outside prison accused of assisting the gang in activities in Las Vegas and as far east as Missouri and South Dakota. Quote, what started as a seemingly simple drug buy on the streets of Sacramento led us into the dark, nasty, and brutally violent underbelly of the California prison system, said Christopher Nielsen, local special agent in charge with the U.S. DEA. Quote, notoriously dangerous inmates aren't necessarily thwarted by prison walls. You think? Sacramento-based U.S. Attorney McGregor Scott called the charges, quote, a very significant setback for one of the California's most notorious prison gangs. Prosecutors said one victim was a longtime leader of a rival black gang, killed just days after he was released from decades of solitary confinement. That was Yogi Pinell. We'll get to him in just a minute. The other 4 were Aryan Brotherhood associates killed for not following rules. And that is one thing I will say about a lot of these prison gangs, and I've talked about it with the last couple videos I did with the Mexican Mafia, Nuestra Familia, Norteños, and stuff like that. The one thing that sometimes confuses me, and I get it, you have to clean house. But the one thing that I just lose on, because I do have a certain kind of reverence and respect for some of these prison gangs. I do. And I think if you cover the kind of content I do and make the content, the videos I do, if you're in this YouTube lane, I don't see how you can't say that you have some respect or reverence for some of these guys. I look at these guys and go, they are not dummies. If you just think these guys are just jailhouse and gangbangers and just drug addicts and all that, they are drug addicts. They are career criminals. They do have a certain kind of mindset that most of us don't. But they're also smart. They're also very charismatic. They're also very manipulative. They have sociopathic tendencies, narcissistic tendencies. Those are facts. So more than one thing can be true. You can't just lump them and say, oh, they're a bunch of dummies and look at their face tattoos. No. If you underestimate them, that's when you're going to wind up dead or wind up like these administrators do from the prison looking dumb. Excuse me. Despite its racist philosophy, the Aryan Brotherhood had a drug smuggling partnership with the Mexican Mafia, prosecutors said. Among the inmates charged is Danny Troxel, 66, a convicted killer serving a life sentence who was known for writing a federal complaint in 2009 that eventually led California to curb the use of solitary confinement. He formed an unusual ceasefire alliance with leaders of other blood rival gangs to promote the complaint. It eventually led to hundreds of gang members and associates being released back into general prison population where investigators say some committed new crimes. Guys, go look all that stuff up. It's fascinating. Prison officials said it's difficult to keep up with the changing tactics of gangs behind bars. Quote, the gangs evolve, their techniques evolve, and they change, California Corrections Secretary Ralph Diaz said. Quote, we will adapt and move along with them. Black guerrilla family leader Hugo Yogi Pinell, a killer with ties to the 1960s Black Revolutionary Movement, was among those released after 45 years in isolation. And then he got killed. 2 Aryan Brotherhood associates, acting on the orders of gang leaders, killed the 71-year-old Pinell days after he was moved in 2015 to a Sacramento area prison, prosecutors say. Pinell became infamous as a member of the San Quentin Six, helping slit the throat of prison guards during a failed 1971 escape attempt that left 6 dead. Troxell and Pinell long denied being gang members. Most of the defendants did not yet have legal representation for the counts unveiled Thursday. The charges also alleged that cellmates Ronald Renegade Yandell, who was 56 at the time, because remember, by the time he attacks the COs, he's in his 60s. At the time of the indictment, he's only 56. And William Sylvester, 51, used smuggled cell phones to direct both heroin and methamphetamine trafficking operations in California. Yandell, serving a life sentence for a double murder, is described as one of the gang's 3-member leadership commission, as is Troxell. So you got to think, in one cell, you've got 2 of the 3 on the state-level commission for the Aryan Brotherhood. Excuse me. La Palma attorney Kevin McNamara is charged with trying to smuggle methamphetamine, tobacco, and cell phones. Guards reported finding 3 phones, plastic wrappers, and power cables concealed in the seat cushion of McNamara's wheelchair. Now, interestingly enough with him, I talked about this in the first video I did months ago. He ended up dying just a few months ago at the end of February of 2025, so that was kind of interesting. And he was young. So in 2019, he's 39, so he died at the age of like 45. At the time, though, he's 39 in 2019. Would not respond to an email, seeking comment. And basically, at the time of his death, he was facing charges and still hadn't all worked out of what was going to be the outcome of these charges and this criminal complaint. Quote, "We have a long way to go in this case," said defense attorney Candace Fields, who represents Kristen DeMar, 44, who is charged with posing as McNamara's paralegal to help smuggle contraband. It's like something out of Breaking Bad. Quote, "With all the moving parts, it is impossible to say right now how things will turn out," Field said. Authorities have been trying to bring down the Aryan Brotherhood, also known as the Brand, for decades. The gang was formed by white inmates in the 1960s and has a policy of blood in, blood out. Members must kill to gain entry and can only leave when they die from natural or non-natural circumstances. And really quick, I want to make this clear. The story was corrected. At first, they had put Todd Ashker in this, but he's not named in the federal charges and the federal complaint. Todd Ashker, a lot of people know him from the hunger strike that he helped promote along with other gang leaders. He's bald, got the mustache, tattoos. Very respected, very revered individual. Just want to make that very clear. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. There you guys have it. Just another little twist in this. There's layers to all this stuff. You know, it's like today I wanted to cover more of the attack on the corrections officers. But again, continue guys to give background information. And some of these stories are worth going over again because I have new viewers, I have new people that are interested, and it's just always unfolding. It's like the lawyer, McNamara. The time I made that video almost a year ago, he hadn't died. Well, now he's dead. You know, it's just, there's always new information coming out. I encourage you guys to go look this stuff up. I think you guys will find it very interesting. But again, comment down below, man. What do you guys do for work? What's a week look like for you guys? Again, thank you guys so much. Much love, much appreciation. Until next time, you already know what it is. Peace.